And Mr. Secretary, welcome again back to this, and thank you. I'm just curious. There are several things I'd like to run past you a little bit because I liked your opening film clip about energy independence in the new era. Can you give us a perspective, however, of what's happening in New England? Because I don't know that we can suggest or should be offering that New England is energy independent, especially if last year in Boston Harbor, there was an LNG tanker from Russia providing LNG gas to New England. And the fact that other New England states and across the country were importing 73 terawatt hours of electricity from Canada. That in and of itself, doing some rough math, represents about 9% of the population of this country of America is getting its electricity from Canada. So could you address a little bit just briefly on that? Because I've got two other questions.
Mr. McKinley, I think what you bring up here is really important. I touched on it a little earlier when I think Mr. Plunn and I were having our discussion, but being able to deliver energy, U.S. Produced energy, to the totality of the United States is really important. What the President talked about in his executive order on infrastructure was, I think, spot on, of focusing on our ability to deliver the energy all across this country. And by and large, that's going to be in the form of natural gas, it's going to be in the form of nuclear energy, and it's going to be in the form of coal-powered energy flowing from,
we're at the discretion, unfortunately, as we're finding out, that's my second question, of how states are interacting with the 401 permitting process. We've got now 4 states, from New York, Washington, Maryland, and now Oregon has stepped in and said they're going to use this federal permitting process to prevent us from using fossil fuels or crossing fossil fuels in their state. I'm just wondering, where's the administration in the pushback about this Commerce Clause? Is that troubling?
Yes.
The administration?
Yes, sir, it is. As a matter of fact, the President talked about it yesterday during the cabinet meeting, Mr. Chairman. He brought it up. I get, and Sonny Perdue and myself are both former governors, and I wrote a book about the 10th Amendment. I'm kind of on the record of being a pretty strong proponent of states being able to decide what's in their best interest. With that said, I think it does beg the question, is it in America's national security for a state to block a pipeline that is going to have an impact from a national security standpoint? At that particular point in time, I think both the Commerce Clause and the national security of this country trumps a state being able to stop a pipeline going across for whatever reason that might be. So, and not even to mention what it's doing to the citizens of the Northeast from the standpoint when they're having to pay 60% more for energy, when the emissions are going up because they are having to use fuel oil instead of natural gas. I mean, not only are they affecting the environment in a very negative way, their citizens are having to pay more expensive energy. So, this isn't just about this issue of, is it okay for the governor of New York to stop a pipeline going across the state? The citizens of New York need to be engaged in this conversation as well about the cost of their energy, and then all of the people of the Northeast need to be talking about, here's what you're doing to our environment because you choose to block a natural gas pipeline going across your state.
Thank you. So I'm hoping the administration gets active in joining other states that are trying to fight back against this. I know we've got the Crow tribe in Montana trying to ship gas or coal across to export it, and they're being blocked. But let me close with, in the 10 seconds I have on it. Can you give us an update of what's going on with the status of the petrochemical complex in the Appalachia. I know the president has called for a study to see if that's not something for energy independence.
Gentlemen,
It's going forward.
thank you, Mr. Secretary. Let me remind members.
Thank you.